Thanks.
So the
Yeah.
previous recording is saved, right?
Yeah, it's saved. Yes,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be
Fine,
uploading that.
fine.
Yeah. So what you can do is now, as I have shown that you can go to another memory map and you can just load that view in DSembler and go for all intermodular calls, and you will see some other modular calls that are actually kind of getting called from that portion of memory. Okay, so it's a bit kind of, I will say, extensive process. Okay, where you are not getting kind of a very good kind of knowledge about the malware capability and all the other things like the one we did previously. But thing is like for a scenario where you are facing a malware which is kind of uh, a, a kind of packed version, you can actually utilize this technique like seeing the memory map and viewing in Dissembler and all, just to get an overview of okay what all things this malware is doing. And maybe if you are kind of a lucky for that new malware sample, when you are analyzing that, maybe you can see okay what the registry hypes are, or maybe what website it is trying to connect to, uh, trying to connect to. And maybe you can prepare a quickly you can prepare a IOC list from that. Okay, so that's how you can actually deal with any malware that kind of is packed with an unknown packer. And the thing is like I will be dealing with this section actually again in module 4, where I will be showcasing a some more good kind of easy way to kind of deal with the packed malware. Okay, so guys, I will stop and I will like let I will know like if there's any questions from your end.
No, brother, no question.
Okay, so this is the same thing that we have seen, that we will just go to the memory map and kind of view in the CPU dissembler, and we can see the code of that. Okay, so and the other thing is that we will just go for search for and click on all intermodular calls, and we will get to know a lot of other kind of functionality that that malware is utilizing. Okay, and we will using this technique as building blocks later when we look at more complex packer in module 4. Okay, and now my plan for today class is also to kind of uh, go through some network connections that are made from the malware and how to intercept that. So what I mean from that is like earlier we have seen some malware which was kind of, you can say, which was communicating with some different on different port numbers, maybe on HTTP protocol and all other things. And we were actually seeing okay what all kind of data are going back and forth. Okay, but what if that the malware is utilizing, suppose, the SSL, the 443 or HTTPS kind of encryption channel, maybe to kind of and communicate with the C2 server. Okay, so what I will do is, that case we have actually not seen, I have kept it for later purpose, and today I will be completing that section where I will be kind of showcasing you guys how with with the use of some of the tools, you can actually see the undecrypted content of the HTTPS connections that are going back and forth between a malware and the C2 server. Okay, so what happened is like there is a software called inet sim that we will be seeing, and it actually handles a lot of protocols for you. Suppose a malware is kind of doing any DNS, doing any HTTP, HTTPS, SMTP, or any other protocol, so it will be able to handle those protocol. And even suppose for a scenario where the malware is trying to kind of download a file from the internet, so what's but since you have set a fake kind of a network in the Linux operating system. So what will happen is that the malware won't be able to get the new executable from it, won't be able to download that. But with the use of inetsim, what will happen is like you can actually, inetsim will actually respond to that malware, okay, that with a fake executable, that this is your executable that you are trying to download, and that thing will be actually then executed by the malware for you. Okay, so what happened, like we'll quickly see this inet sim in detail, and we have already seen the fake DNS thing in action before. So let's do that, and I will be kind of utilizing a new malware sample called guide.exe for kind of analyzing that. Okay, so let's quickly go to the Ramnex VM. In Ramnex, actually thing is the inet sim is pre-installed. So I will quickly go to that. And let's Control C. There's nothing running as of now. And what I will do is I will quickly run the inet sim, and it's on. Okay. It has started all the protocols, as you can see, the SMTP, the email, the POP3, the HTTPS, FTP, and all the other things. Simulation is running right now. And what I will do is I will let's see what all things we can do. So what happened is like the guide.exe will actually kind of try to download some malware samples from the memory from the internet. Okay, so what will happen, since we have kind of established that okay, the window VM can communicate with the Ramnex VM. So what will happen, the guide will think that okay, the malware server is actually existing on the Ramnex VM, and then it will try to kind of download some sample from there. And the inet sim will be actually will be clever to kind of respond that with a fake executable, and the guide will actually think that it has got the original one, and then it will actually execute that for you. Okay, so let's kind of that let's quickly go to that. And there are a lot of other things is that whatever kind of communications are going back and forth between the Ramnex VM and the Windows VM. So what will happen is all those kind of headers, files, and all those things will be actually logged inside the var log inetsim service.log. So if you go to that thing, you will actually see what all communications were happening. Okay, so what I will also do is we also need the fake DNS running, because we have to kind of tell so that fake DNS thing will actually, as you know, actually tells for any connection. Suppose I am visiting google.com, so even though the IP address starts the original IP starts with 172, the fake DNS will tell that the original IP address starts is the one that's the Ramnex VM Linux VM is having. Okay, and that's where kind of I'll be seeing a fake kind of a Google website that the Linux VM is giving me. So the fake DNS functionality is already implemented in a similar fashion in inet sim also, but I'm not activating that right now. I am going with the fake DNS for today. Okay, so let's also run this, and we are, I think, ready to go. So let's quickly close this one, and let's see if I can go to the Internet Explorer, and let's see Google search pages. Okay, so Control T. What's the IP address? Let me see once. I have config 246.129, and let's ping that IP quickly. So we have the connection to that. Okay, and what we will do is we will quickly try to run that guide.exe malware. So let's see that if I have that. Yeah, I have it. So let's copy it and let's paste it over here. And now let's unzip it. And I have the malware now over here. So let's see what all. So you can see it looks something kind of a PDF file actually over here, where it is kind of it is trying to actually fool the user that okay, it's a PDF file, but it's kind of executable. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll quickly check my network connections if everything is set up good. properly. Network settings. Okay, let's see what's the current IP address once. IP config is 246.166 and default gateway is not set properly. So what I will do is I will quickly tell this software that okay, your IP is 162.168 to 46 dot whatever it is 160 in the same subnet mask is same, and the gateway is 192.168 to 46.129, the VM, the IP address of the Linux VM, and also the DNS address. I'll just tell it 192.168 to 46.129. And now let's quickly do it. Okay, close, and let's now again try to ping that IP address. Oh yeah, so now I have got the connection. You can see that I have got a good connection with the Linux VM, and kind of the inet sim is running, and you can see that I am visiting microsoft.com, but I am not getting any error, and I am getting the fake web page of the inet sim. So what I can do is even kind of I can say I can change this the look of this website over in the Ramnex VM, and kind of I can like showcase any fake kind of page to the user. Okay, so now if I go to suppose google.com, so I'll be getting the same page. So any confusion till now from you guys? Any questions?
No, Pragya.
No,
Okay.
Pragya.
Okay, great. So now what I will do is the lab is totally set up. I have the fake DNS running. I have the inet sim running. You can see that all the things are coming over here, what all searches I have done. The inet sim is also running. So what I will do is I will now quickly, uh, first thing first is to take a snapshot. I don't want to kind of do this again. Inet sim proper. It's done. And now let's run the guide.exe. Okay, so let's do that and let's run that. And you can see that the two things happened over here. The guide.exe got executed. Okay, the guide.exe deleted itself from this folder. It is not no longer here. And also thing is that guide.exe was actually a downloader. It actually tried to download a file from the internet. And what happened, because the inet sim was running, it was very smart to know that okay, it is looking for a exe file, and it actually gave it a fake exe file to run. Okay, and this is the executable actually that the inet sim actually supplied for that. And Gait actually thought that okay, this is the executable malware that his master is serving from the C2 server, but actually over here it's the fake one. Okay, so that's a very quick introduction to kind of the how what's the inet sim and fake DNS can do for you. But now we will see what all things were logged in inet sim. Okay, so let's go to the fake DNS first. And you can see that there were these instructions that were actually kind of called from the malware. So the first website that it went to was talonstamp.com. Then it was something ctldl.windowsupdate.com, then mstffconnecttest.com. Okay, these three IP address. And I think that maybe in this one, maybe this will be the only one actually which the malware was actually trying to communicate to. This might be of the Microsoft or maybe the malware. I think it's the non-malware one, because you can see this link was actually previously over here also in the top one. Okay, so this is the only link actually that got executed once that malware actually executed. So so now guys, what you can do is like whenever you have kind of a malware and you want to kind of you can actually prepare a good IOC of that okay, that block this malicious URL from all the like in all the IDS and other things. Okay, so you can get that from here. Okay, so that's one of the good thing that fake DNS will actually help you. You can run establish that in a VM environment and quickly get the IOCs. And now let's see what all things actually was discussed between the C2 server and the malware. So for that, what I will do is I will quickly go to the log file of the inetsim. So let's see what the path is. It's var log inetsim service.log. So let's go quickly to that var log. um, let's do a cat var log init sim and then services.log. Let's see what's there. Okay, so now you have got a very good thing, and now let's see what all things are there. Yes, so and we need to kind of search where our file is, and as you can see over here that it is this IP address, the Linux, the Windows VM is actually kind of asking this parameter. In the Talos, you can see that the URL you can see over here. Okay, the talons stem.com, and what it is doing in that website is it is actually asking this for this file under this path images slash 1m6r.exe. Okay, through the get parameter or using the get parameter. Okay, so it's asking for that, and what is happening is that there are very useful thing actually you can see over here. That first thing is that it is asking for this exe file, and the other thing, the most important stuff, also you have the user agent. Okay, so the user agent is nothing like Mozilla or Safari or something like that, but the user agent is updates downloader. Okay, so what you can do is, this is a very important another IOC that you can quickly get, that you can kind of put that as kind of filter in IDS environment, and you can tell, okay, if there's any user agent that is like kind of having the string as updates downloader, quickly alert that system to the SOC guys. Okay, so this is another exe, another IOC that you can get, and the host was the talonstem.com, and these are actually the parameter that went through. So let's see where it went away. Okay, or maybe I will. What we can do is we can quickly kind of be paste that in a text file and search for that talons. But guys, I think you have got a pretty good idea that it was searching for that exe file, and you also have the header of the HTTP header, like what the get parameter, the host name, and all the other stuff using the including the user agent, and that's how you can actually kind of set a kind of a working environment and kind of fool the malware that okay, you are connected to a C2 server, and kind of get all the IOCs of that, hidden IOCs of that malware. So I hope this short demo was actually clear to all of you guys. And any questions regarding that?
Yeah, everything is clear.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Great. So now thing is, let's quickly verify in the fake DNS. Mm, okay. Okay, so now the thing is like what to do, kind of. Okay, and the good part is also that you will be really happy that it was an HTTPS connection. You can see over here it was an encrypted connection, but you actually got the you are able to see that in a decrypted format what all things were being asked, because you can't see this get parameter in the HTTPS, and you can see that this thing was asked, and the actually the inetsim actually sent this one, the sample GUI.exe, to that software. Okay, so you guys will, I think you'll be really happy that okay, you can now see, you can see the decrypted format of the HTTPS connection without any kind of hustle or kind of any problem and you can see the decrypted format of HTTPS. And now there is one more easy way, guys, that I want to showcase today. That suppose you don't have the time, you don't have the proper setup of Linux VM and all, and you want to see the HTTPS connection in decrypted format quickly. So that's where we will using another tool that you can quickly install that in your operating system, Windows operating system itself. And you guys might be already aware the tool name is actually Fiddler. Okay, so let's see that in action quickly. Okay, and actually it's a very easy to use. Just run that and kind of you will be able to see the decrypted format, the connection in decrypted format for all the protocols, in all the port number. No matter what port number, you can see the communications over there. Okay, so you can see the user agent for update downloader, and that's a good IOC for you to kind of spot like where, okay, in your organization where the what all systems are infected with guide.exe. Okay, now we'll quickly look at the Fiddler software. So let's go to the Fiddler. Let's run this VM, and let's quickly. And this Fiddler technique will actually work no matter like kind of you have set a Linux VM or not. Okay, or you have set a fake DNS or not. If you have not set any other thing, even in that case, the Fiddler will work. So let's quickly run the Fiddler. And you don't have to actually do anything over there. Everything is set for you. Okay, and also I will just tell you some thing, guys, that is also something called as auto responder. Okay, auto responder is something you can achieve the same thing what inetsim actually gave you, that okay, when it asks for the executable, it actually gave you the executable. So what I will do is I'll quickly click on enable rules, and I will add a rule that okay, okay, let's see that. Let's see that again. Mm, I hope the guide.exe is not running right now. Yeah, it's not running. And now let's run the guide.exe. And before that, we need to fix something. Um, that in there's a section called HTTPS, and you have to see that okay, this connection, this box is checked, that is capture HTTPS connect, and this box is also checked decrypt HTTPS traffic, and that's how only you can see the decrypted format of HTTPS. Okay, so that's actually most of the time actually set by default. Okay, so options, the HTTPS, and you can see that it is already been checked over here. You don't have to worry about that. Okay, so now what I will do, I'll quickly run the guide.exe again. So let's go to the desktop and go to, and I need to unzip the guide.exe again. It's done, and now let's run this. And over here, actually, you can see all the communications that went for, and you can go on inspector, and you can see that okay, this was the get parameter. Okay, this was a request that was made from the malware, where the host was ct, maybe it is no, okay, this is the one. Okay, and where it asks for the 1am60r.exe, and it is actually HTTPS. You are seeing that in decrypted format, and the user agent is update downloader. And then you can, below you can actually see what connections, what response came. But since the response was not there, we are not seeing that. And let's kind of add rule, and then respond with, okay, so you can see that I'm setting a rule over here that whenever kind of it will, for this connection, whenever this thing will be matching, I will set a rule. I can set a rule from here what all executable I want. So what I can do, I can go to this one. When it is asking for 1m6r.exe, I will tell, okay, whatever what you do is kind of you give it a file, whatever you have over here. So what I will do, I'll quickly go to that, maybe the CFF Explorer. Okay, and I will save. So now what is happening over here now when I will run this malware again? So what will happen? This rule will be matched in the fiddler, and it will be actually giving that malware the cfexplore.exe in return whenever it is asking for this 1m6r.exe. Okay. So now what I will do is kind of I will run that malware again. So let's do that again. 7-zip extract to guide malware. Hold on, and let's see that. So now if I run that, you can see that CFX Explorer actually ran, because thing is that when this connection was requested, it actually returned that CFX Explorer.exe, and that what actually the malware actually ran for you. Okay. So I hope the uses of Fiddler is totally clear, how what the features are and how you can achieve all the functionality. Any questions in that?
Pragyan, can we see the encrypted content as well? Is it?
Yeah. You can see that you can actually, because you, okay, just give me 1 minute.
Sure.
Okay, so what thing is like, if this is actually HTTPS connection, in HTTPS connection you can't see the get values and all, like the 1m6r.exe that you're seeing over here. You can't see the request header. Okay, the like the user agents and all the other things, and that's actually a decrypted format that you are seeing right now. Okay, and for that thing is it actually kind of there was also a section actually where I you can see what response header. Okay, it's a request header, and this was a response header, where actually kind of the this was a response header that was provided by the fiddler itself, and where it actually gave uh, the executable CF exploit to execute. And this thing are actually in decrypted format right now. You are actually seeing the decrypted format of HTTPS by default. Got it? Any questions now?
No, Pragyan.
Okay, so I hope you guys were very happy, like, okay, that how you can use the iNetSIM and Fiddler to kind of see the encrypted content, and maybe also fool the malware in downloading the other executable. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else pending for today. Yeah, so the other thing is that, okay, because the if the iNetSIM is not running, there are other ways to kind of set that. There is something called as IP table you can do to kind of what to say, to kind of suppose the there might be a scenario. So why this IP table will actually be helpful is that, suppose there might be a scenario where the malware is not kind of connecting to a domain name. Okay, so over here thing is 90% of the time it will be actually it will try to communicate with a domain name only, because it will actually give the attacker a kind of a positive side, is that, and if the IP address of that domain has actually suppose has been blocked by some company, they can, what they can do is they can quickly like kind of change the domain hosting server of the website, and they will get a new IP address, and that's how they can sometime evade the detection and all. So that is normally used, but there might be a case where malware is actually trying to communicate directly to the IP address. Okay, like suppose 91 to dot something. Here thing is like we were able to fool the malware that, okay, talons med.com actually reside in Linux VM, but if the malware is kind of trying to connect directly to the IP address, that's where one of the scenario I want to let you know, that that's one of the scenario where this setup won't actually help you. This thing will help, where kind of the fiddler you can see the decrypted content, but the iNetSIM and fake DNS will actually totally fail, because there is nothing, there will be no DNS query, nothing like that, and the malware will actually try to communicate directly to the IP address. Okay, so over there thing is like there are certain ways to achieve that also, and I guess iNetSIM might help. I will check that later. Okay, so suppose that suppose what happen is like, suppose the malware is trying to communicate with some IP address. If the malware is looking for 91.200, suppose 13.20, Okay, so what you can do is like, suppose you know that a malware is trying to communicate to this IP address. What you can do is like, you can okay, the easy way is actually, what you do is like, you set your IP address in the Linux VM in the same subnet, the same IP address 91.213.20. Okay, and then you set another IP address in the same subnet with .21 in the window machine, and that's how again you are back in business, and you can actually again kind of see, okay, what all communications are going through, because now the malware will think that Linux VM is the correct C2 server, which has the IP 91.213.20, and you are back in business, and you will be able to see the communications again over there. But like, there are certain other ways where kind of, suppose you don't want to be in a scenario where you have to change the IP address every time, then there is something called as IP tables. Okay, what it will do is actually route all the kind of uh, if you execute that, what it will do is like, if you execute this command IP table -t nat, what it will do is actually kind of, it will route every IP address like 91 or 200 to your original Linux VM IP that starts with 192 or something. Okay, and in the Linux VM, what the guys have do is like, they not to let you waste time in executing this big command, you can also quickly type this command, accept all IPs start, and that lab will be totally ready for you to kind of analyze any malware that is trying to communicate with the IP address. And once you're done, you can do or accept all IP stop, and all that thing will be, the software will stop for you. Okay, so that's how thing is like, guys. You can kind of try to uh, come try to kind of analyze the network related activity of the malware in that. Okay, so for today, I hope the packed stuff is somewhat clear, like how we can kind of analyze the packed code using the debugger. And later I will be actually showcasing some more complex ways, malware, where I will be showcasing some easy way to kind of see the unpacked code. Okay, and the other thing is, the pending item is that OllyDebug dump ex, the plugin is pending from my end, that I was not able to showcase you today, guys. So that I will be showcasing in the next class. And I hope the network part is now clear. And is there any questions from you guys, from your end?
No, Pragya.
Okay, so I will be stopping the class for today, and later, maybe tomorrow or maybe Monday, we will try to kind of complete the other stuff. Maybe we will complete this module 3, and we will start with the module 4. That is, I think, related to self-defending malware, where the malware is kind of detects if it is running in debugger or running in a VM environment. Okay.
Okay. So, Pragyan, if we have a class tomorrow, can you share today's video in the evening?
Yeah, I will do that. No problem. I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay, guys, then. Bye bye.
Thank you, Pragyan.
Thank you. Yeah.